Uh,
All right, welcome to the Flux Dev Meeting.
so the feature request is events for artifact generator. We have a that's in the roadmap. I guess you would be here for this, for asking for a backlog. I think that one would be a good one since you did the others.
This one,
Yeah,
right?
we uh yes. Yeah, so the give you some background. When I've implemented the artifact generator reconciler, I added events in there, but they only go to Kubernetes events. Um, we have another package that wraps both. And you can see an example in any other controller. The problem is that we can't just use that and send all the events because these events are quite spammy. Uh, we should first definitely enable events for errors because I mean that's why that guy opened the ticket. Like he had like bad paths in there and he didn't get a notification that the artifact couldn't be built. So I think the first step will be enable notifications for error messages. Then if you can look a little bit at the info ones, I don't think everything should go in there. For example, the artifact generator will refresh the whole list of external artifacts, but it doesn't mean it actually changes them, because if the digest does not change, that artifact is not actually created. So we shouldn't send a alert on Slack. We created this external artifact, when in fact we didn't. We just verified that, okay, it's the same checksum and we move over, right? So that's why I'm saying it's not as easy as flipping all the Kubernetes events to notification controller events, because some of them can be too spammy, right? So that's the only, let's say, reason I didn't do it from the start. But errors should be straightforward to, send them.
Okay, and I
Yeah,
can
so
look at other controllers, similar implementations.
yes,
Okay.
you can. I think
Probably source controller is a good reference since we're dealing with sources, right? I guess we need an event on every error and one info event at the end of the reconciliation, like
no,
those
only if we
sources.
generate something. No, only
Yeah,
if we generate something. So that's the. I think this is also source controller does this, but source controller is simple because in source controller it's always one source, one artifact. And what source controller does is it it knows the, let's say, the git shot of the current artifact. Then it does remote ls. The upstream has the same git shot, so it doesn't do anything, skip everything. There is no need to refresh it. But artifact generator and source watcher cannot do that, right? Because there are copy rules. So even if the sources are the same, you can change the spec. And a change in the spec can or cannot change all the artifacts. Maybe you change a copy rule in one artifact, we only generate that one, right? So I think the info event at the end should only be for a diff, all status, new status. Do we actually generated new things? Is the digest different? Only then send the alert.
do we report? I forgot. Which digests do we report on the status? One for each artifact, an overall
Yes.
digest. We have
So
one per
each,
artifact.
each external artifact has its own digest. And I think we should send a notification when the digest actually changes. So you only get
One
see
notification per artifact or one for the whole? I would say one for the whole reconciliation.
that will be best. Yeah. Yeah. So Renato, you'll need to do some kind of aggregation at the end and not fire the event as soon as each external artifact is generated. You collect them and you fire one event with a list of we generated this one, we generated this one, we generated this one, and that should definitely trim down any spam we could send to users.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look and let you guys know. Thank you.
Cool. If you can comment on the issue so we can assign it to you, that would be great.
How are we? Because the previous digests are not going to be in the status for the artifact generator, but this notification should probably fire from the the artifact generator reconcile func. And it's producing the external artifacts. Do we want a map to detect the edges of the digest changes inside of artifact generator? Or do we just read back the old status information before you update the new external artifacts? Keep a map inside of the reconcile func and then read before write?
So we have a drift detection. I wrote a drift detection function that does all this stuff. And the drift detection function just returns a bool. It can actually return, and that runs right at the beginning of the reconciliation loop, right? So that one can return a map or an object or something that you store in memory. Then you compare it to the last one and you do like a diff. If there is a diff between the two, you capture that in the
It's like a
artifact.
reasonable time to issue an edge change.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think we can actually expand a little bit detect drift that already has that information. So it's
Yeah.
basically the first thing that does in the reconcile function. It runs this detect drift.
And it's not like external artifact is a big object anyway, so why not check every field?
Yeah.
Seems like definitely there could be like a more targeted version of it that was maybe even just looking at status, but it's probably
No,
fine.
we have a map of external artifact digest, right? Now you can change something in the artifact generator that will result in less artifacts or more artifacts,
Yes.
right? So it's not only about comparing one-on-one, it's comparing two maps, right? Any kind of diff. Maybe the checksum of an external artifact changes, we should include that in the alert, or new artifacts are created, or artifacts are deleted because you just remove them from the generator. Right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, they're keyed by the name and namespace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is unique, and it's enough for also the notification. That's what we send you a notification, right?
I suppose
Namespace, and then
other fields could even change as well, like I don't know where the external artifact is pointing to, like if it's on one shard versus another.
no, we don't have sharding for source watcher.
Yeah.
So external artifact is extremely static. Is the only thing that changes is the digest.
Digest would
Right.
be the only thing, yeah. But
Yeah.
there's
Nothing else changes.
the drift detection,
Meaningful for the alert.
yeah. But it's defensive in a way if other fields would change for some reason, then the drift detection func would fire for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. think we talked about this, Mateus, and you said like what we don't do, we don't oh yeah, we don't watch the external artifacts that we generate, and someone can do a kubectl delete on an external artifact, and we are going to figure out and we are going to restore it only when the reconciliation timer comes. So, but this is not, Renato, this is not part of this task. This would be a separate thing. Like we don't react fast enough, let's say, to someone messing up and deleting an external artifact.
Yeah.
We wait for the interval.
Both things are easy to do, by the way, like the events and this one. For this one, we just need to modify the enqueue func. Like we already
We already
watch.
watch now. We already watch
Yeah,
now for external
yeah.
artifacts. Yeah.
So all we would have to do is extend the function that maps the event to artifact generators and consider also the generated artifacts. That's an easy change as well. So if you want to
Yeah.
do it, if you have time, very welcome.
Right, because it will trigger the artifact generator reconciler. The diff will run, the diff will say, oh, the things that are supposed to be there are no longer there. Let me recreate them.
Oh yeah, maybe answer is like, would the code notice that the external artifact object is missing? The current code?
Yeah, it always looks at the cluster. Let me check this one.
So yeah, if that's
This is-
true, then this is a very easy change. Like just modify the enqueue that maps the event to the artifact generators to consider the artifacts that we generate. And of course, please deduplicate. That would not happen, right? Like we cannot, otherwise we would have a loop. So an artifact is only an external artifact is only referenced in as a source or as an output, but never both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
same
so maybe,
artifact generator.
yeah. So no need to deduplication for the duplication. Yeah, very easy change.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you
Look,
for the
so
info.
in the detect drift function, we actually have we return a specific error condition, which is called external artifacts not found. Fail to query in cluster external artifacts for the desired state, right? So the controller already does this in the diff, where it looks, hey, in storage, I have an external artifact. The artifact generator has that as a target, but the target is missing from the API. I need to recreate it, right? The only thing we do, we don't watch for deletions, but we definitely restore them based on detect drift.
Yeah, just anytime we intend to remove an external artifact, we'll need to make sure to also remove it from the map so that it doesn't create a loop.
Yep.
As well.
Yeah,
No, that's
like if you want to mitigate an incident or something like that, you have to suspend the artifact generator to delete the external artifact, because with this feature, it will not do anything. It's going to be reconciled instantly.
and it's okay to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
Flux is about ensuring the desired state is there. You want to fight with it, you have to suspend it.
Yep.
I-
Yep. Normal thing to do.
Cool.
Uh,
Do we have anything for Source Watcher in the roadmap besides? This was the only important one, right?
Yeah,
Mateus with the events.
I'm looking at the roadmap here, and we're really good with in the current state. The only thing for that we're missing is this feature, support artifact generator notifications, and the major things, which is cosine v3 and Helm, which are on track.
And status inventory is almost there, right? For Helm.
Yes, it's what's actually blocking merging Helm 4 because that
Yeah.
feature is using the Helm 4 branch as base, and I want to force push the base, otherwise the PR will be
Yeah.
closed. But there's only needs to address in the inventory PR. I'm waiting for Kapizawa, and I guess I'll wait only until tomorrow because we really need to move forward here. And if tomorrow this is not fixed in the morning, I'll take over and I'll fix what needs to be fixed there, and all the needs merge, then uh fix the branch
Wait,
for
you
Helm
can,
4.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you can actually, let's say by tomorrow evening, if he's not back, you can merge it in your, because it's not merging into main, it's merging into Helm 4, right?
yeah,
So you can merge it as it is, not force
yeah,
push over his commits, and then do the tiny changes in Helm 4 branch.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was
Cool.
my plan. So Helm 4 on track. Oh yeah. Well, since we're talking about it, let me give some updates. Helm 4.1 was released yesterday as planned. It does not have that that bug fix I shipped for the regression I found in Helm 4, which is not returning early when case status sees an object in the failed state, which is a terminal state. So case status should skip that and not block the wait until the timeout. It's only wasted time. The fix is merged in Helm main branch. It's staged for Helm 4.1.1, which is staged for March 11. Scott Rigby is trying to make that happen earlier. He knows when Flux 2.8 is scheduled for, which is February 21st. And so he's with that, he's thinking that for this to work well for Flux, it would be like 1 week before, right? So February 14th is when is the date he's got have in mind for we're trying to make Helm 4.1.1 land.
That's a really
Uh
big ask. That's like a 3 week change for them, right?
yeah, like yeah, it's
Okay, fingers
not
crossed.
it's not a
But
yeah, probably not a trivial thing, but Scott is trying. Thanks Scott if you watch this. Thank you very much.
that's a pretty big bug fix though. So
Yeah, like it even our CI fails because of it. I'm gonna have to for like after inventory is merged to merge Helm 4, I'm gonna have to disable that test with a comment mentioning the issue and the version when it lands and merge it as is without that test. And then when we have the fix, we can enable the test again.
how often do
That's
you
gonna
think
be it.
people run into charts with custom resources where case status would be in a failed state? Do we have any
No,
comment?
it's not about that. Wait, so even for a deployment, so you have a deployment, you install the chart with MV4, which by default uses case status. The
Oh,
deployment fails. The deployment reaches the deadline
yeah.
of the rollout. You have a timeout of 2 hours. The deployment failed in 10 minutes. You are going to wait 2 hours.
Oh
So
man,
this is not about custom resources. This affects everything.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, this is how Mateus found it because it was stuck on a pod, not on a custom resource. He never tested with custom resources because he didn't know how to do that.
Nice find.
So
Nice find.
this
Nice.
is about
No, I mean this was the
Helm
CI. We had
hooks,
tests for
Helm
this.
tests, everything.
Yeah.
Affects
Yeah.
everything. It's
Um,
quite
well,
big.
I'm sure that Scott is extending his thanks to us as well, and hopefully they get a release out as soon as possible. It would really be not ideal for us to ship Flux 2.8 with the buggy version of Helm this way. So yeah, that's
Yeah. And
One thing, Mateus, on Helm v4. So what we really need to do is I talking to other Flux users about this v4 change, and everybody was like very, very afraid they are going to upgrade Flux to 2.8 and they will get 10,000 upgrades running in parallel because they have 10K Helm releases in a cluster, right? It's a major concern, and I can definitely understand it. We can't afford shipping a Helm controller that looks at a Helm release, which is fine, and it will start upgrading everything. So we have to deploy it on our staging cluster and so on, and make sure before you merge it that when you switch from Helm releases managed by Flux 2.7 to new Helm controller Helm v4, it will not trigger upgrades, right? And we have in our
Probably
staging class Prometheus.
perpetuity, honestly. Like we need to make sure that as well, that when we release 2.9 and 2.10, that that is also true. Like that's something we have to
Yeah. But
yeah, I'll confirm this, but
given
I think I
that,
already observed this. Like when I deployed the controller with the Helm 4, no upgrades happened. I even triggered an upgrade myself, of course, to see what would happen. Like with, I asked Claude to list all the Helm releases and run a Flux reconcile Helm release minus minus force on all of them, and both things went fine. Without the force, the reconciliation is an OOP as expected from default Helm
yeah.
release.
So
So
basically,
I've observed that I can do it again.
this is the test, right? I mean, the Flux reconcile without force or restarting the Helm controller has basically the same effect, right? Because when you upgrade the controller, all the Helm releases come down as scheduled, and Helm controller will go through, do I need to upgrade this or not? It's the same stuff that you'd run Flux reconcile without the force, right? But so this is like number one top priority for us. Nothing should happen. Now, when you run it with force, we should also make sure we are not flipping to server-side apply. We are not using case status for health checks, right? Because what we are saying is that if you have installed a chart using Helm v3 machinery with client-side apply and normal health check, the long pulling, even if you move to the next Helm controller, we should preserve that functionality unless the user opts in and says, I want server-side apply on this one. I want the next upgrade to be with server-side apply, right? So
Yeah, this is ensured. Like this is ensured by we are by default following Helm 4 defaults, which is a breaking change. But we have a feature gate that switches back to Helm 3 defaults. That's something we have. And even if you don't opt into the feature gate for going back to Helm 3 defaults, our defaults matching Helm 4 are safe because Helm also has to be safe on this, which is the default for install is server-side apply,
yes,
and the default for upgrade and rollback is auto, which means do whatever is stored on the release. If the release
yeah,
says it was server-side apply,
client-side
is server-side
apply.
apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So that's fine.
I'm not saying I know this is how it's supposed to be. What I'm telling you, we need to make
Yeah.
really damn sure this is how it's going to be,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
in
like that already.
theory, looks great.
Yeah.
like just because it's working in the Helm SDK today doesn't mean it's not a risk for us to manage over the next year. or two. It's like for as long as there are large Flux environments with many thousands of Helm releases that are applied with client side apply and are stable, we need to worry how can we cover Flux and ensure that the behavior that we are seeing that we have an integration test that ensures that Flux is not upgrading those resources and causing a thundering herd in people's clusters.
Do we have such a test, Mateus, for install with client side, then upgrade with auto and verify that it doesn't flip to server side apply?
I can make sure that I will
I think that
make
would
sure
be
we
very
have.
good to have
That would be a great
because
test to include. Yeah.
yeah, we don't know. We are going
Yes.
to upgrade to Helm 4.1.2.1. Whatever in the future. If something is wrong there, we need to catch it. Right. And also for case
Yeah.
status, the same we should have like, is this auto mode actually working as it's supposed to be? Even if, let's say, here we are kind of duplicating some of the tests that Helm has itself, hopefully, but I think it's worth the effort to duplicate them and
Oh,
protect
by the way,
Flux users.
there's no auto for case status because it's not recorded on the release. It's you have to control that with flags.
That
There's
one
no
With flags.
nothing.
in.
Yeah, you don't have only server side apply is recorded on the release. Case status is not.
Okay, so what happens when I upgrade Helm controller? Will it flip to case status? No, I have to opt in into it, right? Or
No, everybody will start using case status. Yeah, you have to like it's what we decided for the gate, right? Like the gate
oh, the
is
gate controls that. Okay.
yes. By default,
Yes.
it will be case status like Helm 4 because our main
Yeah.
decision here was we're going to follow Helm defaults
Defaults. Yeah, of course.
because we have to do that as like for two reasons in my head, which is we cannot diverge and become a separate software, right? We have to keep following Helm, and there more things like that will happen in the future. And the second reason is I don't want to have to explain people in the future that
Yeah. You
oh,
run
historically,
Helm wait. Yeah. You
yes,
run Helm
yeah,
wait
like
with Helm before, then Influx works differently. Right. We
yes,
definitely
right?
need to match the weight in there.
Yeah.
But
So our best
we
solution for this is the feature gate. The feature gate will
yeah.
change the defaults back to Helm 3. You can do that.
So if you want to be super safe when you upgrade to 2.8, you should enable a feature gate for Helm v3 defaults and you'll not be using case status. If you don't go with the feature gate and you go with case status, when something fails, you are going to wait for the whole duration of the timeout. You have 3 hours, you are going to wait 3 hours, and there is no way to stop it unless you kill the controller pod.
Yeah. So let me give an update. So if Scott manages to make the release come earlier, we're gonna have this fix for case status, right? Failed resources will not stall the wait until the timeout. We're gonna have that. And I really want that to happen. And second, we can ship cancellation as well. Wait cancellation.
Yeah.
Both things are staged for
I've seen it,
4.1.1.
yeah.
Yeah. So with luck, if I would say whatever Scott manages to do to bring the release earlier, even if it's not the best date for us, which is February 14, if it's 21 or even a week after, I would say we should delay the release for this couple of weeks to get those things in.
Wait a second. For the case status, that's a bug fix. We can
Yes.
actually, even if we release 2.8 and let's say by some magic they release the case status fix 3 weeks after. We are going to do 2.8.1, get the
Yes.
case status fix in,
For
because
sure,
that's
for
like
sure.
really, really crazy affecting people. Yeah.
For sure, for
So
sure. There's no doubt.
the
for
moment
that.
they ship it, we have to ship it. Like
Yes,
it's
I
it's
have no
bad.
doubt
It's
that we're
really
gonna do
bad.
that. That's exactly what I want to do. But I really want to
So,
get
yeah, of course.
cancellation in. I really want to get cancellation because I suffer from it using Flux.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
the feature I want the most in Flux.
Yeah,
And
same.
it's
I told you I have
countless the
like
amount of like this week, right? We got another issue from that. Like if we've listed all the issues and Slack threads asking and like by someone that is suffering because of that.
I told you I have
It's
like in my Bash profile, I have a shortcut for killing Helm controller because of this. It's like you
Yeah.
mess up with some values, you have timeout 20 minutes, and like I'm not going to wait 20 minutes. It's
I'm
like
even
kill.
happy to ship this in a patch release. If I have to, I'll ship this in a patch release.
I fine tune all of my timeouts and retry intervals, and I warn people about the possibility of a rollback in certain cases and what that might mean if you just created a cross-plane resource. And it's so complicated. I'm so looking forward to be able to remove all of that and just set timeout equal to interval 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you basically don't have to think of the timeout in a way that you don't get caught into it. You can actually set timeouts as you expect the rollout to happen. And if you fucked it up and the values are wrong, you are going to change them, and Helm control will bail out from waiting and it will do the next upgrade, right? With the fixes. No rollback, no nothing, because this is something that Mateus added in 2.6, which is super valuable for Helm controller, where we never do rollbacks. Now we have a strategy where we only move forward, like customized control, because there are like tons of workloads out there. When you do a rollback, very bad things will happen. Like, can you do a rollback of if the database migration fail? You probably can't. Like, if there is a stateful set, forget about Helm rollback because that's too trivial to work. It's like stateful sets are not made for that. Also, changes in custom resources like crossplane that are like touching everything outside the cluster. What good will that do if you roll back crossplane to an older version if crossplane is already caught in some AWS error? Like, you can make things worse by rolling it back, right? So we already have this strategy where you only go forward, and if it fails, Helm controller will say, okay, it's failed. I'm not going to roll back. I'm just going to retry after whatever minutes. Now the problem is, the biggest problem right now is even if you set this strategy, if you have long timeouts, you have to wait for them to finish to take your next fix, right? And we solved this in customized controller for 2.8. And for Helm is way more complicated because we need special hooks in the Helm SDK so we can cancel through the Helm SDK, right? We can't cancel from outside. In customized controller, we have like full power. It's all our 100% our source code. So we know how to cancel. But here is we can't do it from Helm controller alone. So Mateus has this fix in Helm. We can actually now, with merge in main, we can cancel just the wait on deployments, pods, whatever is there. And we don't cancel hooks or other things that are running database migrations. And you never want to cancel a database migration in the middle of the migration, right? Because it's like, no one wants that. That will be like really, really bad. So we now have exact code in Helm to cancel only the thing that is safe to cancel, like waiting for the resources from the storage to become healthy. And if you mess up some, I don't know, flag in a deployment, it will never become healthy. It will always error out, right? So you should be able to cancel it. And I think that coupled with the new strategy that we introduced, we are finally getting Helm controller to behave like customized controller design, where it's like way more predictable in terms of what it does, how it fails, how it retries. So yeah, if
I
you
have a
if you haven't,
question about
yeah,
how to implement that. In right now in customized controller, we in 2.7, one day before the release, we shipped this feature that cancels the health check on new revision of the source. And now we have improved that with the feature we're discussing here for customized controllers. Now, any event, any watch event will cancel the health checks and not just new revision. And this new behavior is using the same feature gate that we used for shipping the first version in 2.7.
yeah, we can't
Uh,
rename it if this is what you want to
yeah,
discuss.
no, it's not renaming it. It's what do we do about this in Helm controller? I wanted not to even introduce the gate. To me, this is a bug fix.
No. So we go with the same naming for the gate, one version, then we turn the gate to true by default, and no one
So
has to deal with it.
So we will have to make it opt-in in the first version the feature
Yes.
is
So
introduced, and
let's say the happy path. Helm does a release before 2.8. We managed to ship this in 2.8. We are going to have the future gate as in customized controller disabled by default.
same name
People have to say name.
has to be
So
opt-in.
people have to do a patch, select Helm controller and customized controller, set the future gate to true. Then in 2.9, we flip the gate to true by default. So people can remove the patch, and that's it. The gate is enabled by default. No one will care about for that gate ever because you don't need to mess with it. It's enabled, and that's how it runs. And
Is
I don't know.
there a version down the road where we can keep the gate always enabled and just print a log if like the behavior of the gate is always enabled, and so basically it's just ignored? Is that ever gonna happen or not?
Yeah, I mean, Kubernetes removes gate after I think 1 year or something like that. I need to look into if they
But they don't
enforce.
break you, right? If we remove a gate and you have it set, we break the pod.
Right. We break the pod, yeah. Yeah,
Do
we can't do this. Yeah.
is that something? Is that a behavior that we can remove? Like we no longer break the pod if you have a gate that does not exist. Does that have a benefit?
Let's see. We have to look better into how Kubernetes deals with this because they have like different stages for
Cool.
rolling out the gate, rolling it off. Maybe that they don't error out on unknown gates. I don't know. But that's also tricky, right? Because then if you make a typo, I don't know. Let's look at how Kubernetes does it, and
Our
we can discuss.
strategy, Kubernetes cannot break when a gate is deployed because nothing else is watching it, right? But the reason that we break, say, source controller or Helm controller, when a bad gate is there is because like you should be in a rolling update, right? And so like the deployment should fail and it should take you back to the previous source controller.
No, it's not the case with source controller. Source controller is replaced only because it's a stateful set. We can't break. Like the
Well,
conclusion is we can't break people.
not a stateful set.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like today we break. We can switch to print a warning.
yeah, you're right. Sure, it's one of the options. Like
Yep.
we enable it, then after 1 year we tell people, hey, even if you set it, we are just going to ignore this gate. It's always on. This feature is stable. we print a message, hey, you should remove it. This is no longer necessary, but we never end up in a situation
The gate
where
will always
Helm
be there
control will,
forever,
yeah,
right? Like we'll never actually remove the existence of the gate in the code. The final state will be this
Deprecated.
informational log on startup, right?
Yeah, the feature gate is deprecated, then all of the actual conditionals and supporting code and functionality is removed. So the gate is
yeah.
removed, it's deprecated.
But we never crash loop if someone specifies it. We just log, hey, you specified this all gate. You can remove it. It has no effect now. Something like that.
Yeah, like we could even have like the life cycle like this. We opt in, opt out, log, no log. That could be the lifetime along
Yeah.
several releases.
Years, he means.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Kapizawa is working on the PR. He just informed me, so
Awesome.
we'll be able to merge his PR in a few minutes. Just to wrap up, we talked about Helm for a lot. Inventory just gave another update, and cell health checks for Helm controller. That's coming. I will work on it. It's a very easy feature. Like all the heavy lifting is on package. Easy. We're gonna have spec.health check expressions field, and very easy feature to ship once
Nice.
we're done
Nice.
with Helm 4 and inventory.
So,
And
Kingdom,
that's
what
it for
this
Helm.
means for you is like you can have a cross-plane object inside the Helm chart, and you can use the cell cheat sheet we have for customized controller, the same expressions now in Helm release. And what happens today? You put a cross-plane object there in the chart. Helm controller says, yes, chart has been deployed, healthy. While the cross-plane resource is like erroring out everywhere. This is what happens today, right? Because Helm cannot figure out if a custom resource is healthy or not. Now with case status, we are also adding custom health checks expression. So you can actually you can put the expression for crossplane to look at, they have these very special conditions of their own, and you can put the condition there and you'll definitely know, was this rolled out? Was crossplane able to create what I needed or not, right? So this is another major thing we want to get in Helm release.
The big challenge that we have with our cross-plane resources is the amount of time that some of them take to become ready. And things like dependencies between resources, where we have to have a VPC subnet composition ready before we can create an EKS cluster. And the EKS cluster, if you've ever seen an EKS cluster become ready in less than 15 minutes, it's a special day. That's
I haven't.
the minimum to become
Yeah,
ready.
a minimum 15 minutes. Yeah.
Plus, it's got to get configured for OIDC and all the things that get attached to EKS after, like add-ons. And if all those things aren't ready yet, then your composition won't be ready. And if your composition gets rolled back, well, guess what? Your cluster is deleted before it's ready. And now you have to wait for the 15 minutes at least that it takes to come down. Hopefully, if all your usages and provider config usages are in the right order so that you can actually delete it without somebody going in there and having to manually fix everything. Anyway, that's what I have to do this afternoon.
Yeah.
we did it wrong somewhere, and now I have to pay the price. So, yeah, major cool feature. I hope we see it soon.
Yeah, it's
Cool, that's it
definitely
for Helm.
getting into it.
Rollbacks are
Yep.
very scary in some places like this.
Yeah, better not do it. I don't know. I'm for erroring out, let the Helm release error out, let people investigate or just move forward and not try to roll back infrastructure changes, which are, I don't know. I don't even trust Terraform destroy with AWS. So crossplane is like crazy scary. To me, I will not do it. Cool. I
Cool.
think we are
roadmap, maybe we already discussed about cosine today, right? I guess, or did we? Maybe a one-liner update in the meeting.
Oh yeah, with cosine we are getting very close on getting V2 and V3 compatibility. Lee is going to improve some of the tests, and this will definitely be done this month.
Yeah, that'll be nice. We'll get it released in Flux 2.8. It'll be covered. The tests will promise it'll always work, and we'll find out when it changes, if it ever does. The direction generally with cosine is they're looking to in the long term remove flags and options from the cosine binary itself and other projects that they're working on, like chain. And they want to be standardizing around this bundle format. So now that we're here, it's going to be good for Flux to follow the same kind of heuristic, like a graceful degradation kind of behavior that they have to support the old formats, but we really want our defaults to follow what cosine wants for long term. So
The only thing we'll never be able to remove are the fields where you pass the issuer regex and the two regexes, right? Where you
yeah,
want to validate a particular, like, I mean, how can they remove those flags? Like, then validation will be worthless, right?
so they have these like verification configs, and you can add a bunch of keys and stuff, and I haven't really fully internalized what it would look like for Flux to use these things.
Generate token. Yeah.
But yeah, like I can imagine, if there's some end users who have some non-trivial configurations and they want to or they're using this file system feature already other places in cosine and they want to put that stuff in a secret, we could use the proper SDK functions to unpack those configs and verify the artifacts that way. There's probably some space for Flux to do really interesting things here because a signature is not the only thing that you can verify now with a cosine bundle. You can staple other kinds of in toto attestations and other material and SBOM information and stuff in there. If somebody wants to have a configuration that they put into a config map or something that says, hey, like, let's not run anything unless the SBOM, has like no log4j, and Flux can do that on, something that comes out of an artifact generator or something that comes out of, a Helm chart in a Helm release, that would be pretty
Yeah.
freaking cool. And definitely the kind of thing that I know a lot of people would be interested in right now that is purely in the realm of admission controllers. But there's almost no better admission controller than what you decide to deliver into a cluster in the first place. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
if let's say you have the artifact with the Helm chart, then you have maybe in that artifact as a layer or another artifact with the ref or a total other artifact with a different address where the SBOM is. And there is somehow to tell source controller, hey, here is the policy ref to a config map, pass that to cosine, pull the right thing from the registry where the SBOM is, so cosine can do the whatever. Yeah, that would be like awesome. But
yeah.
people are talking about these SBOMs for years now, man, and they're like, we are nowhere with them. It's more
Yeah.
like
and it's
jazz hands and yeah.
I think signature verification is a very good and easy and performance use case. I don't know how hungry I am to have Helm controller, validating 10 megabyte SBOM. So, but
It
yeah,
will never be Helm controller, it will be source controller. But anyway, it's
or so
yeah, 10 mega. Yeah, unpacking it is like and looking inside it's
yeah,
we had so much issues with Helm index YAML, right?
yeah. But
Drives the memory crazy.
somebody
S
wants
bombs,
to,
it's worse.
if somebody wants to have an in toto attestation that says that this signing key, with this material on this SBOM does not have log4j, and you want to validate that very specific signature with a particular subject
Mm.
material, then source controller can validate that kind of thing with a signing config, or with some verification config. So, but and
Okay.
I think the bundles they let that happen without having to have a mess of tags and stuff inside of the registry. So it's pretty cool. This is definitely a good upgrade. So, they've
Yeah,
done
maybe
a good job on that. The SDK functions had to change a little bit, so we just have to. We implemented the fallback behavior similar to the CLI, and it seems to work pretty well even in some of the weird edge cases. But that's all I have to say about it for now. We'll ship it.
yeah, maybe in 2.9 we can think of like the most requested feature we have for Flux and Cosine is supporting other instances of Recur. Not that it's easy to run Recur, but I think AWS has its own instance, and I think IBM Cloud or something like that. For people that don't want to use the public one, they can switch to this hosted in their own cloud. And there is no way right now in source controller to say for this source go to this Recur. Is basically I think the address of Recur is hard coded in the SDK and we just pull the default from there.
Yeah.
But ideally we should be able to let people say, here is the Recur, here is the CA for it, use it. Right.
Yeah, and people need to be able to provide as well, like their own like trust bundles and things like that.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just like kind of auto downloaded. But yeah, later, Augie. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's we download inside the in a temp volume the not the record, the other one, the CA of the how is it called?
Pulsio, the
Yes,
Pulsio trust root. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So that you cannot change. The SDK downloads it automatically. We store it in a temp dir and rotates it. But if you are going to use your own record instance, then you
yeah,
need to provide the CM also. We can't do the defaults anymore, right? So I
absolutely.
imagine
Yeah,
referencing to a config map that contains a field is where is record, another field is what is
yeah,
the CA, put the CA in here and so on. And we take the config map and that should be the desired state of what's the ledger? This one. How can I connect to it? Like this. How I verify? This is the CA, right?
yeah,
Because now it's like hard coded on the defaults of the SDK, basically.
yeah.
Oh,
That'll be good.
awesome. Okay. I think we are over time. We can see each other next week then.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you guys.